Please work. Please work.
And this is live on YouTube, right?
It will be live on YouTube.
Whenever idiot figures out his...
Whenever the button works.
Yeah. The button worked. The button worked. Okay, we're live now. We're live. Shh, shh. That's good. All right.
Oh, that intro is cool, though.
You can see the intro?
Yeah. I'm watching it back. It's got yeah, that's cool. It's got Max. Yeah.
Nice. Excuse me.
Good evening, all you beautiful people, and welcome to the Class vs. Crass Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jason Lapine. Joining me once again is the co-host guy who's always here, Sean Long, aka RGT85, back from his journey across America.
Up the East Coast. Up the East Coast.
It's a small journey. Oh man, it looks like oh, there it is. Thought we lost our box. And joining us for the first time on Hey Jay, third time I think on Class vs. Crass, Jules, what's it?
Hello.
I don't think I know how to
say my name. Wow.
You notice how I like quietly went off at the end?
I know. You didn't convince anyone though, dude. Enjoy.
I'm not sure. Is it what?
It's like watch him go. Like watch him go.
What's him? Or because I was about to say what's ham, and I'm like that can't be it.
It's so wrong. It's watch him, and I am deeply hurt that you wouldn't know after all this time.
So, well, I never call you by your last name. It's always by your first name. Jules.
That's very true.
So for those who don't,
man. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
So for those of you who may not know Jules, just take a look over his shoulder, and those are some of the wonderful games he's created over there. You might have seen them on some consoles. What's this over here? Bomb Monkey.
Bomb Monkey. It's classic. Blast from the past.
Did we count that in the thing that we said?
Good point. I don't think we did. But anyway, it's now lovingly known as Mud Blocks in the Mutant Mods Collection on the Switch.
Great. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time on Class vs. Crass, first of all, welcome to the stream. As you can see, if you weren't here last week, we did some renovations. We got some new little icons down here. We got a whole new setup. We got a nice, beautiful little chat box on the side. What else we got? Got my little counter to 1,000 subscribers so I can make money off of this again because YouTube kicked me out of the YouTube partnership program for being too tiny. And we got some cool new alerts. So if any of you subscribe or donate through the link below, which is Streamlabs, you're going to see some really cool little versions of me and GIFs doing things. So without any more delays, this is a 1-hour podcast where we talk about everything gaming. We start off with what have you been playing? That's where myself, Sean, and our guests, Jules, will be sharing our gaming experiences from the past week. Then we'll be getting into some headlines. There weren't too many, but since we have a guest today, no worries. We're going to be talking about what Jules does best, which is developing games on pretty much every platform now. As I was browsing the Atooi website, I noticed
almost
you're not just 3DS and Switch anymore. You do a little bit of everything.
Well, Xeodrifter was a limited run game on the PS4 and Vita.
PS4 Vita. And for a short time, it was on PS3. Actually, no, that was months maybe.
Just 1 month.
Maybe it's PS3 as well. I lose track, honestly, I don't even know.
Oh, somebody's trying it out. I don't know what they did though. Someone tried it out.
What happened?
Eric said he failed as usual.
No, I didn't fail. Someone subscribed. They saw me dancing. All right. I got a little dancing emote. Sean's jealous. Watch, his next stream, he's going to have little Sean dancing emotes.
No, I have a noise that plays and it scares the shit out of me every time.
Is it you screaming?
No, it's a
Sonic?
Yeah. And then when somebody donates, it does the Mario coin sound and a little 3D coin comes on. I got animations.
That's nice.
That's very cool.
Excuse me.
Oh man, did we just get a donation? Oh, nice. Thank you, Eric, for testing out the donation button. All right.
Everyone else, test it out. See if it can handle volume.
Make sure you pay him back.
That's good. That's a good.
Has a limited input, like shit.
He gets money. Don't worry. Where was I? Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about what Jules does, and then at the end we save the last 15 minutes for user topics and questions. That's where we're gonna take your questions. You know, we got Jules here for a limited amount of time, so if you want to focus on questions and topics for Jules, please do so. We're gonna take all that at the end of the stream. So let's get started with what have you been playing. Jules, do you play games anymore? Have you been playing anything?
I do play games. Owlboy is one that I have very, very fond memories of playing and beating recently on the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, so that was good. Played that. I got Celeste. I haven't got through that yet because that's an interesting game because it's really hard.
Right. And
I know it has the assist mode, but it's the kind of thing where I don't want to use it because you're literally cheating, so I don't want to use the assist mode. So I'm kind of I'm caught in a weird place because I'm like, I want to play Celeste. It's annoyingly difficult in some places, but I don't want to use assist because it feels like I'll be cheating, that I end up not playing it. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so there's my experience with Celeste. Good game, but whatever. But Owlboy was awesome. And what else on the Switch? Which is mainly what I'm playing these days. I'll have to load it up to look, but that's about it. Probably those two mainly.
Why am I not surprised that you are playing Celeste?
Pixel games.
Celeste. It's a game I want to pick up myself.
Owlboy, though, is really impressive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
The artwork is really, really nice. The music is beautiful. It's got a really nice story. It's got some nice kind of inventive, creative kind of gameplay. Yeah, it's a little bit buggy. I'm hoping they fix some of that. It's got a few bugs and a few crashes here and there, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, no, it's a good experience. I really enjoyed it. It's one of those games that really comes along for me, and I'm like, I have to beat this. You know, I can't stop playing it until I'm done. You know, just not because I'm a completionist, but it's just so much fun. And I wanted to kind of keep going. You know, yeah, it was really good. Definitely recommend it. It's expensive though. It's kind of $25, which is a bit strange.
That's Owlboy, right?
Owlboy, yeah. I would have thought it would have been 20, but
I picked that up on Steam because I couldn't wait for it to come to the Switch. So I played that. Wonderful score. I love the music of that game.
Yeah,
just the theme.
It's really nice. I bought the soundtrack. It's really nice. Yeah, it's like 60 odd tunes.
Let me. You know what? For those of you, we gotta sell you on Owlboy right now. I'm gonna pull up the soundtrack real quick here for the main theme. How's it go? Owlboy main theme. You haven't played this yet, right, Sean?
My favorite tune in that is number 44, Strato. It is beautiful. I love it. It is really airy and awesome.
You know what? Let's go to your favorite tune right after this quick intro.
This is like a radio station.
Right?
For all you lovers out there, this is track 44, Strato from Owlboy. Hit it.
It works very well, this podcast, when you listen to it just with audio. So nice. The main theme is actually kind of slow, but here it goes. Remember it being faster than this.
You're probably drunk.
Yeah, that was okay. Let's go to your tune. So Owlboy, track 44. Strato. Owlboy, Strato. And then we're getting, so this is what you've been playing. Owlboy soundtrack Strato. Let's hear this. All right, gotta listen to an ad. Nope, that's not an ad. Well, that's really good.
Yeah, Nintendo Talk pretty much said why I haven't played it yet. I'm waiting on the physical myself.
Yeah.
In May. That's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that too. That's awesome.
That's in May. Is that limited? Who's doing the physical for that?
Sedesco? I don't know how to pronounce their name.
There's a lot of Slain was just announced for a physical release. A lot of Switch indies are getting physical releases, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very good.
Great.
Cool. So Sean, what have you been playing in your new I see you live under the stairs now.
Yep, this is my spiral staircase, which I'll probably die on.
Is that how you climb up to your bedroom now?
Yeah, but there's a staircase outside as well, which is nice because, you know, if I go to the barcade or something, I can just go up the normal stairs and go to bed.
So this is like your escape hatch when there's...
Well, I mean, really, it's like, you know, I have... I originally was going to put the computer in the office in the bedroom, but I couldn't get this desk up there without actually, like, undoing it. But I actually like it better because, like, it's like my desk is here, my kitchen is there, my living room / film room is here. So it's like all work related stuff is downstairs, and then upstairs is just like a very big open bedroom with the bathroom. Nice. It's like work and then, you know, relaxation up there. So I actually like the dichotomy that ended up happening with that. What have I been playing? The past 2 days, I've put 20 some odd hours into Payday 2 on the Switch.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a huge Payday fan of the original game. I played it to death on the PS3. For whatever reason, I never got around to playing Payday 2. And it came out in the European eShop early. And Coopman actually hooked me up because I was having trouble finding freaking eShop codes for Europe. And he was like, oh, just send me the money. I'll do it for you. And I was like, yeah. So I got that. I downloaded it Friday night. Saturday morning, I started playing at 10. And barring like a few little breaks, I played it till like 1 a.m. and then I played it a bunch today. It's just so much fun. Like it's so much fun. I got a review going up tomorrow. That's what I was editing before this. Besides that, I finally dove into my backlog of Switch games, Mercenary Sagas, Chronicles, Xeodrifter, which I'm super familiar with Xeodrifter anyways from the Wii U one. I think I actually reviewed that. The Fall I downloaded. Mulaka I just downloaded today. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. But yeah, a lot of stuff. There's a lot. And then Doom, because Doom got that awesome update. And it's pretty crazy just how much they managed to do in a single update. So yeah, it's been busy.
Would you say Payday 2 is better than Payday 1?
Oh yeah, dude, the mission variety in that game is so insane. Like the original Payday, there was different types of missions, but it all was sort of based around the same sort of things. This one, like, you go from like a simple jewelry store heist to I did one that I talk about in the review. I'm at a Confederate bar where there's like all these Confederate flags up and all these crazy rednecks. I have to go in, save a guy, then we have to run, and he has to build a bike, and I have to defend him while he's building the bike. I then get on the bike and drive the bike away, and then all of a sudden I'm on a train with the bike. Like it's insane, and there's a whole stealth element that's just so crazy. That like me and Spawnwave are actually leveling up our characters because you could do full missions without the cops ever coming. You could go into a bank, take out a security guard, put him in a body bag, hack the safe while someone else is like, while no one's around. You could hack the cameras, take out. So it's crazy. It's just absolutely insane. Yeah, it's nice. They did a hell of a job with it. It sucks that there's no voice chat. Definitely the worst thing about it. But if you're playing with friends, we hopped on like Google Hangouts or whatever, and then there's actually 4-player local co-op too, which is sick. So we're gonna do some of that sometime this week probably and check that out. But yeah, hell of a game. I've been having an absolute blast with it.
So if you play single player, how does that work then? Is it AI or do you take turns in the different characters?
You've got AI characters, most of which who aren't the smartest in the world, but they're good for two things. They will shoot people, and if you get knocked down, they will come and help you out. They'll pick you up, and that's really all I really need. I don't care about doing like drilling the safe by myself and all that stuff. But when you have someone, when you're actually playing with actual people, it's just so much better, because you've got you know, one guy drilling the safe, one guy's at the front door taking out people, one guy's going off trying to, and there's like sub stuff in there as well. Like you have your main mission, which is maybe like, okay, get into the bank vault and get the money, but then you could go into like someone's office and find like their personal safe and then grab their stuff, and then you get extra money and stuff. It's just, the sheer mission variety is insane, and it goes down to even in the missions themselves. There's so many different ways to do it. It's crazy, and a lot of it is random generation. So like I'll shut up about Payday 2 in a second, I promise. So there's one where you have to get $15,000 from a total of 4 stores, okay? And there's like personal safes in each of the stores, but they switch locations, so they're not in the same locations every time. So if you're doing it stealth, you have to actually case the place and, you know, see which places have the things. And then there's like an ATM machine, and if you have a device, you can put it on the ATM machine. ATM machine blows up, you can grab the money that way. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Are you done?
Nice. I'll definitely be checking it out.
Yeah, I'm done.
That sounds amazing.
That's fun.
All right, before I get into what I've been playing, I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat for Jules. I'm trying to take note of all the ones that are going through, guys, and we're gonna pepper Jules in segments with all your questions. So just
I do like pepper though. I'm a fan of pepper. Black pepper.
Do you like pepper?
Jalapeno pepper.
How about
chipotle pepper?
Chipotle pepper?
Crushed red pepper.
Crushed red pepper.
I would love some chipotle
Bell
pepper.
pepper even.
I have to try that. Bell pepper's okay. I've been playing a funny game this weekend. I fell in love with something I wasn't supposed to. So earlier this week, I downloaded Hollow Knight, and I barely played it, so I'm not going to talk about that. But
what did you play it on? What system?
I have it on Steam, but I literally played it for 5 or 10 minutes. But yesterday I was about to watch Netflix. I turn out my PS4 and I see that I have this PS Plus game I can play. Like I downloaded, I never played, which is called Knack. We've all heard of Knack, the PS4 launch title, the launch exclusive. So I play it, and I couldn't put it down. I fell in love with Knack, and I played it all night yesterday, hoping to like beat it in one playthrough, which I didn't. And then I put like 5-6 hours in today, and I'm almost near the end. And I can't put this game down. It's so good. I don't know why it got so much hate. I've been avoiding the game because of...
Who made that?
Good question. Who did make Knack?
Was that by the people who did Ratchet and Clank, or am I completely way off base on that?
Developer was SIE Japan Studio.
Knack got hate because it was the big release for the PS4 when it launched, and it was like, what is this? It's not. I don't think anyone ever thought, you know, it was a terrible game or whatever.
Just not what they wanted. Maybe.
It's not what they wanted.
Yeah.
It has 54% on Metacritic.
54?
54.
Because it's not what people wanted.
Expectation, man.
And I think you're exactly on point, Sean, because I was trying to figure, like, this is my third game that I can think of that everybody hates that I've suddenly fallen in love for. So I'm, you know, I always try to find a reason, like what's going on here? Why is this being hated on so much? I'm looking back at the games, by the way, Jules. I can't, it's not from the people who did Jack and, which one did you say? Jack?
Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet, yeah.
That's Insomniac, right?
Yeah. So these guys, I don't actually recognize any of their games.
I thought it was a team like that. So people were kind of like, what? Why did they release this? But maybe not. No,
it's...
really or something like that. I don't know.
They made a lot of games. But, they made The Puppeteer. I have that game. Didn't really like that one. Shadow of the Cloak. Not sure. Anyways, yeah, it's a good game, and I think you're entirely right, Sean, that it's an expectation thing. I looked very briefly at some reviews, some people saying it's very simplistic, and yes, it's a very linear 3D world. So I'm thinking that people were probably just expecting like a 3D like Mario game maybe, which Knack is not. It's very much a story-driven game, which is part of what kept me hooked in the game. I like always want to know what was next. So I just kept playing, and the battle system is actually kind of good. Like I had my son with me, and he couldn't play the game because he would just try to go in and whack everything, which gets you destroyed instantly. There's actually a strategic element to like jumping around and dodging and attacking when an opening happens. So I really like the battle system. Visuals are really stunning, and it's an interesting story. So Knack is one of my It was one of my surprise
Yes.
games. So if you guys, I don't know if you guys have tried it or not, but you definitely should. I heard Knack 2 is even better, so that's going to be my next one.
I had no idea there was a Knack too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
came out last.
Knick-knack.
It's a pretty terrible name, Knack.
It is. It is.
Doesn't say much.
So look at this. Apparently, Caffeinated Diabetic says Knack has a 4.5 out of 5 on Amazon based on 800 plus reviews. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
There's
The players are liking it, just not the press.
yeah.
They're
Which
press. They're fickle. They're a fickle bunch.
They are.
it really highlights a problem in the industry and how a game can fail because
Yeah.
of a select few, which is very scary.
And also how a game can succeed because of a select few as well.
Very good point. It goes both ways.
It really does.
Speaking of press, Jules, I did see a question in chat. Someone asked, you may choose to answer this or not. Total segue. Someone asked, what was the decisive factor in the new Atooi press rules? If you...
Which ones?
that was all.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure who asked that, but if you can elaborate.
Well, because I remember when I first, let me think now, for MUDs, I had the press rule of a minimum number of followers or whatever, or on their social channel, whatever it might be, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, etc., YouTube. So the reason for that was the landscape for people who ask for reviews has changed so much over the last few years, where there are hundreds of people asking for review codes, which is great, very flattering, very awesome. But some people are like some dude who has one follower and has a YouTube account and is like, hey, give me a free game. It's like, well, no, you're just getting free games, dude. I mean, sorry. So you have to get to the point where I get 200 codes from Nintendo, and you know I have to figure out, and I have way more than that, people asking for codes, so I have to figure out who to give them to, basically. So one way is like, all right, well, do you have a legit? Are you actually going to help me sell the game, or you just want a free game? Which one is it? You know, so I try to decipher, like, all right, great, you actually are legit and actually putting effort into, you know, your craft. Great, here's the game. Help me sell some copies. Which at the end of the day, that's what reviews and press is for, right? And the other one was recently with totes. I decided not to give out any press codes, which I guess is not really a new rule. It's just more of an experiment. Just because, why not? You know, I don't really have much to lose, honestly. Like MUDs and Xeodrifter, I handed out, you know, hundreds of codes and got, you know, and some of them turned into coverage, some of them didn't. And so now I'm like, you know what? Let's just try a completely different approach and see what happens. So,
Well, I remember it was with MUDs, I think. You know, a certain large website had asked for a review code and then did nothing with it, and then was like a dick about it, and like on Twitter, and I was like, no, that's not gonna fly with me. Because in my opinion, if you ask for something, you need to there's two ways to get codes. You get sent a code or you request a code. If somebody just sends me a code of something and I don't get around to it, I don't feel bad because I didn't ask for it. But if I'm going out of my way asking for something, like, what type of person would I be to ask for something and then do nothing with it? Like, don't give me rude. Don't give me no BS that, oh, well, we ran out of time, blah, blah, blah. You could do something with it. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a full review. Do some sort of coverage with it. Games we've been playing, like, especially when you're a huge conglomerate website with hundreds of employees, like, get that shit out of here, man.
Get that out of here.
That whole situation made me very, very upset.
Right. Yeah, the whole press review, the whole state of the union, as it were, with reviews and press now, it's honestly a freaking disaster right now. I mean, I don't mind being honest with how I feel about it. I think it's a mess. I think reviews right now are a complete mess. And I think a lot of it started when the movement of, well, everyone has an opinion. This review is someone's opinion, so how can it be wrong? It's like, they may not be wrong, but they may still be an idiot that no one's worth listening to. You know, it's like, just, you know, because for me, like back in the day, like some of the websites would try and have a voice for the website, which is a very tricky thing to create and maintain. But it's really awesome if you can do that, because then when a game comes out of a certain genre, let's say, that game is then compared to other games in that same genre, and they put it on a scale in relation to that. So let's say a 2D platform game comes out, and naturally, probably, let's say Mario is the top of that list, let's say, you know, as far as the watermark, like what people are aiming for. Then they'll compare it to that and kind of look at all of that genre over history and kind of try and put it into that. So it is that website saying that score, rather than Joe Blow, oh, I hate platform games, 2 out of 10.
Right.
Or Joe Schmo, I love platform games, 10 out of 10. Maybe it doesn't deserve either one of those, but that's kind of where we're at now. Now it's down to personal opinion, which is great, nothing wrong with that. Well, there's a lot wrong with it, actually, but that's now that all the reviews are. It's all just personal opinions. And now it's like, now I need to get to know someone to know what that actually means. So it's kind of, I think there's places for both of those, but it's kind of, the old way's gone out, and now it's all just personal opinion. And now you get some people, and I'll call them out, Pocket Gamer, who reviewed, you know, Xeodrifter recently, gave it a 5 out of 10. And the review is just factually incorrect. I mean, it even says wrong information. And I'm like, oh God, who is this person, you know, like brand new and it brought in, here's a game, just review it, cool, thanks a lot. And no one edited it and put it out. I don't know, but I think it's a symptom of that new movement where it's like all about personal expression and their personal opinion, rather than there being an editor that takes this information and tries to edit it as a voice of the website, which has kind of gone away, you know, to a large degree. Anyway, so that's the end of my rant on that. But anyways, that's kind of my thought on the whole review situation, which I think is completely broken and largely useless to the buying public.
That's a very good point. Hang on, Sean. I have a lot of opinions on this. I agree with you, Jules, how the landscape has changed very much. And, you know, I salute you for trying something new, because honestly, all the rules have been thrown out the window and nobody knows what works, what doesn't. So no harm in trying something new. You know, the game industry really is only about 30 years old, let's say. The reviews of games is only 30 years old or so. And back then, to be a gamer meant everything. But now, like, meant you played all games and you could review them all. But part of that landscape change, one thing that did change is, as you said, there's so much diversity in games now. Someone who enjoys platformer should probably stick to reviewing platformers and not necessarily, you know, dabble around in genres, because they're so vastly different games. Also, none of these reviewers have any, like, there is no formal training of how do you review a game. It's all pretty much like, I've played game for 30 years, I'm good to review. And oftentimes the gaming websites that have a voice, it's pretty much like, hey, you want to play this game? Play it. Let me know your personal opinion, as you said. So the industry has evolved, but the way we review hasn't evolved in the right way, in my opinion.
It's got lazy, I think. I think the personal opinion approach is a very easy, lazy way of doing it. You know, I think it's a lot more work. Well, I mean, kind of give a website and a staff of reviewers a single voice and a single kind of service that they're providing the people, their audience. You know, I think that's a lot more work. And let's face it, it probably isn't commercially successful either. I mean, a lot of the way things have changed is because what works, what makes money. People want personalities, people want opinion, people want something interesting, exciting, an actual analytic breakdown of a review from someone who's a specialist on that genre in that field. It's probably not very sexy, it's probably not very interesting, it's probably very useful, but that's not very fun. I think people want something more interesting. Geez, like your guys, you know, websites and your channels and so on, people tune into you guys because they like you. You know, and that's kind of the way things have gone now. It's less about, you know, a breakdown of analytical kind of data, where obviously that's an element of it, but it's more about, for example, I like Sean, I like his opinion on games, I have a similar, you know, view of games as him, so I'm going to listen to what he thinks about this game because it may be the same as mine or whatever. You know, that's just the way things have kind of evolved, which is fascinating.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at this Xeodrifter review, and I see the main issue I had with the gameplay is there's no easy way to recover health in order to have full HP before confronting a boss. Yeah. There's literally, it's right there. Like,
if only there was a health spawner right in front of the boss room. If only. Well, not only does that highlight, well, it highlights a lot of things, right? Being devil's advocate, the game could have telegraphed that better. They didn't find it. Nah, cool bullshit on that. It's really easy to find. But let's just play devil advocate and let's say I could have done a better job at communicating that. Let's also look at the fact that it's the same as Metroid. You know? So haven't you played Metroid and then played Xeodrifter? I mean, come on. For some frame of reference? I mean, Jesus.
The Metroid-inspired exploration game soars onto Switch, but does it land? Well, the funny thing is, this is only the second review that this person has done for the website. The other one was Super Meat Boy for Switch, it looks like. So they're relatively new. But yeah, like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's a basic thing. Like, it's been a while since I've played it, and I was playing it today, and I got to the first boss, and I was like, oh, I only have 2 health. And I was like, oh, wait, you shoot these things, don't you? And I shot him. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense. So, like, no, come on. That's lazy.
It's silly. It's silly. Because, I mean, to try and justify myself for a second, the whole game is about dropping you into a situation, good luck. We're not holding your hand, you're gonna die. You're a space explorer literally in space on your own, good luck. From the very beginning, you start off in a spaceship, you don't know which planet to go from. I mean, immediately it's communicating to you, all right, figure it out. Even down to the health pickups. I mean, that's just the vibe of the game, is like, you're alone on alien planets, figure it out, you know? And I think that's part of the emotion and part of how good you feel when you figure something out. You figure out, oh, I pick up these little red things and I can put them in my little gun things, and whoa, I can make a sine wave. That's awesome. If I told the player that they could do that, they'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But when they discover that, it feels awesome. Like, they put the pips in there and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, oh my God. That's what that game is trying to do. So, yeah. Anyway, some people obviously don't like that.
Yeah. That's, we could probably have a whole podcast on the state of reviews in the gaming industry, and I'm going to make a note, because that would be...
I probably need to get off the subject, because I look very biased and very whiny when I talk about it, but...
No, I don't think so at all. It is a very interesting... It's a very interesting thing. It's an interesting conversation that we have internally on our website, you know, trying to do a balance of you know, opinion and fact when you're actually reviewing a game. And there are times where, you know, we'll have a game and, you know, maybe I'm you know, maybe I have some free time to review it, but if it's not a genre that I know I don't like, or a style of game that I don't like, but
why would you review it? Yeah,
exactly. I'll pass on it.
It makes no sense. I'm gonna hate it. Let me hate it, please.
Yeah,
and let the whole world I hate it. You know, it's like, well, and that's the thing as well. When it comes to a website like Pocket Gamer, who has a huge following, they're a big website, right? It's disrespectful and unprofessional for them to treat games that way. The person who played that game, at the very least, clearly didn't know the genre, whether it be Metroid or 2D platformers, clearly didn't know it very well. So it does a disservice to their audience. You know, fair enough, you may hate the game and give it a low score. That's great. That's up to you. But being factually just obviously clueless about that genre and exposing that in your review, it's kind of like, come on, guys, you can be more professional than that. So someone should have caught that on the editor stuff, and clearly an editor didn't even read that before it went live. It's like, you guys have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter and so on. It's like, you guys are providing a service here. Surely you hold game developers, you hold game developers to a very high standard, as you should. Should the high standards also be equal on the review side? You guys should also be doing a great job, you know? You go hand in hand.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to something else.
For sure. I made a note. State of reviews in the gaming industry. We're going to have a whole dedicated Class vs. Crass gaming podcast. I think I'm going to invite different members of the industry for a well-rounded conversation, from developers to reviewers. It should be a good show. We'll plan that out for March, I hope. But before we get to our next question, next topic, Jules brought along some goodies for all of our not all of our viewers, for some of our viewers.
Everyone, get on me.
Everybody,
you get a game.
Everybody gets a game. Thank you, Oprah Jules. So Jules, we're gonna give away a code here. What is the first game you'd like to give away?
Let's start with our first Switch game, which will be Mutant Mudds Collection, which contains Mutant Mudds Deluxe, Mutant Mudds Super Challenge, and Mudblocks.
And that's
Mudblocks is so addicting. I was like, oh, I won't play that much, and then I'm just like,
right.
I'll play more.
So that's
awesome.
So that is a Switch game valued at what is that in the US
15.
dollar? $15 game.
Yeah.
And the question, look at this. We prepared questions ahead of time. Class vs.
We're so
Crass
professional.
is going up to the next
5
level. After 106 episodes, we finally do. Dude, we used to do this on the fly, Jules, if you didn't know. It only took 3 years to prepare ahead of time.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we're going to go with the first question, which is a Atooi base. For those who don't know, Jules is the owner, founder, developer at Atooi, which is the company, well, the studio responsible for Xeodrifter. You know what, Jules? What? Let's introduce you to those who may not know you. You probably do a better job than I do.
Sure. Well, I'll do a short-ish version. I started making games a long time ago in 92, 93-ish in the UK. Worked at a bunch of different companies, worked in games like NBA Jam and Zero and some other stuff. Started Renegade Kid with a good friend of mine, Greg, in 2007. But did a DS game called Dementium, a bunch of other games, including Muds and Xeodrifter. Started my own company. I won't give that away because there's a question coming up later on that one. Oh, like that. I started my own company, broke off from Renegade Kid, and my focus is game design, art, also do production and PR and the business side. And I grabbed a bunch of the 2D stuff for Atooi, whereas my friend Greg, he started a company and he has 3D stuff. So I have like Mods and Xeodrifter and so on. And there you go. That is the short version. Oh, look out. Nice. Dementium 2. Yep. So Dementium was our first game as Renegade Kid.
Wait, very show nice. Those again, Sean. You were small. So these are some of the games Jules was responsible for back in the DS.
Awesome. I love
Dementium was our first independent game. That was so fun to make.
Mutant Muds, you said?
Or
Dementium. Oh, sorry about that. All right. So there's your overview of
Which
Jules.
got remastered.
Which got remastered. Do you have that too?
3DS.
Oh no, there was no
on
physical.
3DS.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give this Mutant Mud code away to the first person who can answer the following question. Where did the Atooi name come from? And we actually have 5 choices for you guys because I don't think any of you would actually guess it. So the first person to fully write out the answer, one of these 5, will win that code for Mutant Muds on your Switch. Please answer if you have a Switch. Actually, I don't care if you have a Switch or not. Just here are the 5 choices. So Atooi comes from, originated from a sound when you sneeze. It came from the name of a tropical island. It came to Jules in a dream. It is the name of Jules' favorite Dutch chocolate. Or it is the name of his first dog. So where did the Atooi name come from? Those are your 5 choices. First person to correctly give us the answer in the chat will win a code for Mutant Muds on the Switch. And Sean, I will leave you in charge of keeping an eye on the chat for that.
Wait. Someone said the Polynesian Kingdom.
Nice. There we go.
That was the first
is that
one.
it?
And everyone else is saying dog.
That's awesome.
Chocolate.
Someone actually got it, like without me.
Polynesian, very good. They obviously know what they're talking about.
Scott Mullins, the Polynesian Kingdom, Hawaii. Yeah.
Nicely done. They're like a Google or Atooi. No.
All right, so a little bit of background here, Jules.
Well,
why'd you pick Atooi?
Let us know what region you're in, if it's North America, Europe, or Australia. I think, and that name sounds familiar, Scott, but that's why I think he's actually US.
So who got that?
Yeah, I love Hawaii. I've been there multiple times, and when I was there, they have a lot of kind of old maps from when, from obviously the history and stuff. And one story that struck me was when James Cook, there's a story of when James Cook, the explorer, discovered, for the European world, the Hawaiian Islands, and they were called the Sandwich Islands at that time, after some Dutch called the Dutch of Sandwich or whatever. And Kauai was called Atooi, and I always thought that was cool, so I nabbed that .com as soon as I heard that, because I thought it was neat. That was years ago, a long time ago. So I always thought it was a cool word, and I like Hawaii, so boom, there you go.
Nice. So Scott's actually saying in the chat he owns the game already, and he's offering the game to the next person down the line who guessed.
Nice. Look at that. What a gentleman.
What a gentleman indeed. So the next one who guessed it right in the chat is Is Muhammad Alavi.
Where you at, Mo?
So Muhammad, please send me your email or actually, you know what? Just email me. Email me at. I'm just gonna put it in here. I have to think for a moment because I was gonna say my business email, but I'm keeping this channel not associated to. What?
Please look at Twitter. Please look at Twitter
God.
right now.
Oh God, what's in there? Oh God.
What happened?
There's oh no!
Are you dancing?
It's me dancing. It's me Rick rolling.
Wow.
It's me Rick rolling.
Oh man, that is
God.
good stuff right there. I like the foot tap there. That's nice.
The foot tap's a nice addition. Oh, you know what? He did a good job. I can't hate him for that. It's really good. It's really good. Thank you, Eric.
That is good.
Thank you for the Rick roll. All right. Muhammad has the little firecrackers, so I think he's good. Okay, let's go with. We have some more questions for you, Jules. Are we even going to talk about topics? Yeah, we will after this question. All right. So I got another question for you. Can you ask? I don't know who asked you this, but can you ask Jules about the inspiration for the art style in Soccer Slammers?
Well, interesting. I haven't really thought about that. It's I guess I started messing around with the voxel stuff, which is what that is. For Totes the Goat, that was a mobile game that was the first Atooi game technically, but then it's coming out to the Switch. Funnily enough, March 1st this Thursday.
That was a nice little plug.
Yeah, and it's like 3D pixel art. You place tiny little cubes, little voxels to create stuff. So when the idea came up to do the soccer game, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to use that art style to do it. So I was kind of messing around to see if anything half decent would come about, being that small and tiny and blocky. And thankfully it did. And I'm like, sweet. So it's just really the voxel stuff is just a new kind of medium, I guess, that I'm kind of experimenting with and having fun with, and I think it works well for that game because it kind of gives it a nice, unique, fun vibe, hopefully. But it's not taking itself too seriously. It's kind of embraces the arcadey, fun kind of action. So there you go.
Have you had any feedback from any playtesters so far?
A little bit. No, I mean the plan is GDC. At the end of March is when we'll have a pretty decent build, touch wood, to take, and we'll have people 4-player be able to play it, and then I'll be taking note to see what problems there are and what mistakes we made. Because the nice thing is we're not planning on releasing it until the World Cup. The World Cup isn't until June. Time to make it delicious. So yeah.
Very good. All right. Want another question, or you want a topic? I'll let you decide.
Oh, that's up to you, man. It's your show. Whatever you want to do.
Oh man, so much freedom here. Actually, this one's a very interesting one. It's coming from another fellow developer. Do you have any advice to make a character control right? I'm in the early stages of development. It's going to be a Metroidvania.
Nice. Very nice. That's a excellent question. That is always the first thing I work on. And you have to think of all of the boring, logical reasons for why this character exists. But for me, they're really exciting, and hopefully for you as a game developer, it's exciting too. Is I always try and go back to the basics of your character shouldn't jump just because Mario did, just because Metroid or Samus does. Your character is to jump because you need him to jump, and then you need to figure out why he needs to jump, and then how high he needs to jump, and you have to hold the button down, and so on. So that every single layer of that decision-making process has to be your own, not because you're copying someone else's game. That's really important. And then that grows to how big is the character in ratio to the screen. If you need him to be able to jump up onto a platform, then you're going to make sure the player actually can see that platform on screen. It sounds really basic and obvious, but that's really important. The player needs to be able to see where that platform is so they can cleanly jump up to it and see what they're doing. But a lot of that is going to be based on the camera. Is the player centered in the middle of the screen? Does the camera look ahead while he's moving? What is the game world that's being given to the player? Because the player needs to be able to make the right decision based on the challenges you're giving to them. And if the information isn't on the screen, it sucks and it's frustrating and it's annoying and you die because it's not your fault. And then the game will suck and everyone will hate it. So it has to be the player's fault that they died, not the game's fault. So all of those things are really important. So the speed, the size, the jumping, it's all about communication and giving the player what they need to accomplish the task that you're giving them. So yeah, I'll start with, so a basic, I'll start with the player size to the screen ratio would be the first step. And then how fast do you want it to move? Is it slow moving? Is it fast moving? Because that's going to affect your scroll speed and what you can see ahead. If you're running too fast and you run into things all the time, that's annoying. Sonic. So you want to kind of address those things and figure out how you're going to approach those things, or get a really great camera that looks ahead if that's important to you, like Mario handles really well. So anyway, that type of basic thinking is how you should go into this. Everything exists for a reason, and that reason needs to be justified in your mind, not because someone else did it. That'd be the simple version of looking at it.
That's very insightful. You mentioned Sonic, so now I have to ask, do you think, let's say, the latest Sonic game, and let's exclude Sonic Mania, do you think the controls for Sonic are done right, in your opinion? Or just in general, what do you think of Sonic in the modern era?
In the modern era, it's probably a disaster in the modern era because no one has patience for anything anymore. So any challenge is like,
right.
I'm going to press play and the whole game just happens in front of me. I'm obviously being very, very facetious with that, but that's generally what I seem to get the vibe from people these days, is any challenge is booed. But no, Sonic today you couldn't release a new game with that exact gameplay, but a brand new property. People would be like, what is going on? This is completely unfocused and I'm running into things all the time and is this a speedrun game? Am I supposed to perfect this so I can get to the end in a nice clean run? If that's the case, why isn't the game helping me realize that and achieve that? So I think Sonic for today's audience would be like, what is this mess?
That's interesting. So it would it's kind of suffering from its nostalgia, where the game kind of needs to look back. Well, it's benefiting from it. So from a game, not from a Sonic franchise or sales, but from a sole game, you're saying like, let's rip out the Sonic IP, let's even put someone else there. But that type of game could use a bit of a design overhaul to achieve what it's trying to do.
I mean, that's what's interesting about Sonic. I think it depends on how you look at it and who you are. Some people may plod through and take their time and try and do everything perfect and kind of get through the stage, and have a great time at it. It seems counterintuitive to approach the Sonic levels that way, because it's all about speed and going fast and going up ramps and stuff. So it seems odd that you're always stopping and starting to actually achieve what you think you're trying to do by collecting all the stuff and killing everything in the stage. But I don't know if that's the designer's intention who made the levels, made the game. I don't think it is, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky one. And I think Sonic Mania it's a good game, but it suffers from the same problems the original Sonic did. It is what it is. I mean, there's always that battle between Sonic and Mario, and people love Sonic over Mario and vice versa, I guess. But whatever.
Yeah, I'm picking more of a nostalgia really blinds. I feel some quality of games. My fight in 2018 is with Crash Bandicoot, which is a series I did not touch when I was younger, and I bought it in December. I bought the trilogy, and I was so disappointed. I dropped 50 Canadian dollars, specifying Canadian. And I just really dislike the game. The controls are messy. The hitboxes are inaccurate. like I bought it because there's so much energy. And this is again with the reviews, it has like a 90% on Metacritic. And I would argue that Knack is better. I'm saying it right here on record. Knack is better than Crash Bandicoot. There. Said it.
Done. You said it.
To be fair, I mean, growing up, I remember Crash Bandicoot was, in the reviews in EGM, GamePro, all those things. Crash Bandicoot was never that top tier. It was like Crash Bandicoot and Knights actually got very similar reviews. They were both very beautiful, unique takes on the genre, but they were like 8s. They were 8s, 8.5s. They weren't that that Super Mario 64, 10 out of 10 thing. Like people appreciated those games, people liked those games, but they weren't heralded as these great creations. The whole thing about Crash was the advertising. That's what made Crash so big. Yeah,
totally.
They had, Crash outside of Nintendo Studios with a megaphone talking shit and stuff. That was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. But I don't necessarily think that those were supposed to be, timeless games. I think they were just games of the times.
Right.
I like that. Not timeless games, games of the times.
That was good. I enjoyed it when you said that. I enjoyed it. I felt it right here.
I'm just gonna say, like, if Crash was such a good game, like, why? So we all agree Mario was a good game, and you see a lot of 2D platformers. Sonic was an okay game, but you got Freedom Planet, which is similar. What other game tried to emulate running towards the camera, avoiding obstacles you don't see until the last second? If it was such a great, which game?
Socket on the Sega Genesis.
Okay, after
that known classic Sonic Socket.
Yeah.
It's
it's like the one Sonic clone on the Genesis, a Socket.
Oh, okay. But really, there's no other game. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no other game where you're running towards the camera and you don't see the obstacles until like the last second, right?
No.
So, I mean, if you enjoy Crash, I'm not like personally trying to attack you or anything. You're completely okay to love it and everything. I mean, this is the great thing with games. There's a game for everybody. I'm just saying, for me, my expectations for Crash were high, and those expectations have crashed.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Like the puns. So that's where I am. Let's talk. You know what? Let's talk about. Let's take a break from Jules for a second. Let's talk about a headline here. So there was a tease last week in Nintendo World that a company very well known right now called Panic Button, who are the masterminds behind the Doom port, the Rocket League port. Isn't there another one? Wolfenstein port, have teased that they're working on a new Switch game, which is interesting, given their track record.
I believe that they were saying there's like multiple, like here's what's happening right now is that I think a lot of big studios are knocking on their door. They're like, yo, you guys know what you're doing with this hardware, with these ports. We want you to port our game. Like, cause like Rocket League came out of the gate phenomenal, and then they gave it a patch and it made it even better. Doom had no business being on the Switch, playing and looking as good as it did. Then they were like, hey, here's some free gyro controls, and we made the handheld mode graphics better, and the online runs smoother. And it's like, what are you people doing over there? Some witchcraft voodoo stuff? Like they are on another level right now when it comes to Switch development. And I really feel like, and the head guy is actually very, very open and talkative on Twitter. He's a very nice guy. You could probably try to get him on here sometime.
We should
like they're just doing a great job. They're porting big games, and companies are taking notice, and they probably want them to do their games because they're doing the games justice.
Do you know anybody there?
Well, and they're in Austin, actually. They're in the same town as me.
Well, look at that.
I don't know if Craig is still there. Craig Galley, I think he is. He was, I believe, one of the founders, or is one of the founders of Panic Button. I worked with him, eons ago on Zero the Kamikaze's Grill. He was one of the programmers on the Super Nintendo game that we made back at Acclaim or Iguana. Actually, we were Iguana then, many, many years ago, 94. So yeah, no, I think he works there anyway. I think he basically runs it or is a co-founder, but I'm not sure though. But something they did is they kind of did, the impossible. Is they with Rocket League, I think that was done originally made in Unreal 3, I think, and I think the Switch only supports Unreal 4.
Correct.
So them porting Unreal 3 game to the Switch was a big deal. And everyone's like, that's really hard and impossible, and they did it. And then not only did it, they did it in style. So I think everyone's probably, so any Unreal 3 games out there, they might be like, okay. But beyond that, they're just obviously masters of what they do, and they've been doing it for decades. And now this is their time to shine. So good for them. They're doing a bang-up job. It's incredible.
Do they have Developer of the Year at the Game Awards? Just
They wouldn't win it. It goes to the big guys, but people are noticing what they're doing. Like they're doing some crazy stuff right now. So I'm very interested. I think Wolfenstein's going to be phenomenal, especially since the fact that they've probably been working. Obviously they've been working on Wolfenstein a lot longer than they did Doom. And Doom has the whole online component, whereas Wolfenstein is just, a single player experience. So I'm really interested to see what they pump out. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. But yeah, they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Can't say enough good things about them.
Did you say you had a suspicion as to what other game they could be working on?
No clue.
I have no clue. I have no clue. But honestly, nothing would surprise me. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, seriously,
Could be anything.
Doom was one of the best looking, best playing first person shooters of the past decade. It was one of the best looking games of 2016. And then they managed to put it a very impressive version on the Switch. It's like, well, what else can you do? Like, the sky's the limit with that.
I certainly wouldn't mind seeing like some Bioshocks. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, those would be good titles.
That'd be nice. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I'm still stuck on the first one. I got the collection for that too in December. And
Bioshock 1 is such a good game. Such a good game.
How?
Bioshock 3 or Infinite? Bioshock Infinite? No, I didn't like that. That was weird. But Bioshock 1, wow.
Why was Infinite
really
weird? That's the one that's kind of drawing me in right now, but I haven't tried it.
Visually, beautiful game. I mean, I was really excited to get into it, but it's really just the story and just really, it doesn't flow very well. You get into it and you're quite sure what's going on. And I think they tried to be overly ambitious with, the set pieces and the events triggering this, that, and that. And I'm like, it's just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
The first one, though, it's good stuff.
It's scarier than I thought.
It works. Yeah, it's pretty freaky.
I wasn't expecting. People are just like, I just picked it up because it was good, and people are like, yeah, it's a great game, and I don't like scary games, so I get into it. I was like, oh shit, what is going on here in this like insane? Oh my god! And then
it's good stuff.
The Mr. Bubbles, I have nightmares about him.
Maybe I would love a Batman Arkham trilogy from them. That would be sick. Because I love the trilogy, or maybe even Dark Knight. I don't know. Dark Knight, I didn't like the vehicle. I thought the vehicle kind of made things kind of poo-poo.
The Switch is missing some Batman love. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
Batman bundle with the black Batman kind of Switch and everything. That's always fun.
Wow, that would be great.
That'd be nice.
With a Batman amiibo.
That's always a win.
Don't forget the amiibo.
That's always a win. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, and then you put Batman in Smash.
There we go.
No.
Now we're talking.
Speaking of Smash, we have a rumor from rumor extraordinaire Emily Rogers that Smash. What is the rumor? I just haven't noted.
It's coming out this year, right?
Coming out this year.
Smash is coming out this year
on Switch.
Yeah, Smash coming out this year.
But I don't think she knows which one it is though. Whether it's a new one or a deluxe version or whatever. But the rumor is that it's coming out this year.
I got the 2 points. Got the 2 points. Smash Bros. Title.
It's kind of like that would be a perfect game to launch alongside the online service. Because I honestly feel like Nintendo's going to launch, either they're going to have a game of theirs and have some third parties also have games release around the same time that take advantage of that service. Because I think you really need something to sort of jumpstart it to get people on board. Like,
wow, Smash Online, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, like to do something with that. Like, I think there's a big potential for that. I'm actually very curious. The online service, it is what it is. I'm actually curious to see what games come out around the time of the online service, because I think that's going to be
Smash and Animal Crossing. Those two things being online and just the whole sharing and playing. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. But I think it could happen.
So Beck Family's rumor, according to the story, there are 2 points that she says. She mentions 2 things she can confirm. 1, a Smash Brothers title will be announced and released for Switch later this year. 2, they added brand new content and reworked some of the existing Wii U/3DS content. So it sounds like it would be a deluxe version.
Oh yeah, I'd be shocked if it's a new game. I think that'd be basically impossible.
And also needless.
I was gonna say, it's almost to the point where do you really Do you really?
Oh yeah, why would you do it? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be just dumb.
Like, oh, this one needs another 10,000 polygons. This character model.
I'm looking forward to like Tropical Freeze coming out on the Switch, because I have it on the Wii U, but I never really played it because I was kind of over my Wii U by the time I had it. So I'm looking forward to that coming to the Switch, because they're really good games. The Donkey Kong Country games on.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. They're so creative. It's insane.
That was a really good game. I played it a lot on the Wii U.
They're amazing.
Because of the drought.
I hope that they remove that load time issue. That's one big turnoff I had. The level load times were like 30 seconds.
I'm sure they did.
Well, that was a disc, so I probably had to load it. And I'm sure the Switch has more memory anyway. So the cartridge plus more memory, I'm sure it will speed that up just automatically. Just because of the hardware.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yep.
All right. Time for another code giveaway.
Another
Atooi game. Jules, what is game number 2 that you will be giving?
Well, let's go with Xeodrifter, shall we? That came out in February 15th, just one day shy of Valentine's Day this year. Yeah. And it has a wonderful price tag of $9.99 in US dollars. And it has the best HD rumble you can get on the Switch. Yes, I said it. I put it out there. It's true.
Oh, how did you use HD rumble in this one?
It's all over the place. It's great. I mean, and Matthew just went to town. He's mainly the programmer on those games, but he just dove in and spent a lot of time TLC on the rumble. So practically everything, and it's subtle and it's spiky depending where it is and where it needs to be. It's great.
So it's just
that was Xeodrifter, right?
Yeah.
That was the first thing I noticed about the game. When I was playing it, I was like, "Hello, HD rumble." Okay, okay.
So
yeah, it's nice. And we had it because it is almost constant. And some people will be like, that's annoying. So you can turn it off. You can put it in subtle. You can put it in medium, and you can put it in intense. So there's actually technically 4 settings, I guess, including off, to kind of do it to your liking. Yeah, it's really good. He did a really good job. It's all over the place. It's nice.
I'm gonna have to retry that. Xeodrifter is probably my favorite game from you.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's I just had such a blast with that. I have it on Steam. I think I have it on 3DS and Wii U. So yeah, I need to get on the Switch now. That is a game I can easily. I don't usually replay games, I'll be honest. Once I beat them, it's done. But this is one I would replay because it's like short enough, fun enough.
Exactly. It's very digestible. It's like it's a mini Metroid basically.
Right. All right, so Xeodrifter, $10 game on the Switch. We'll go to one lucky winner. The first one who can answer the following trivia about Atooi, the studio behind Xeodrifter. And the question is, you know what? I'm going to go with the following because you'll have a 1 in 12 chances of getting it right. What month was Atooi founded in, as per Jules? So if Wikipedia says it and it's wrong, I don't care. It's Jules who has the final say on it.
And I have paperwork to prove it as well from the city.
All right.
Somewhere.
I don't know if I should give a hint, but who is Treon's Realm?
A fast man.
Is this an insider? They not only guessed the month, but they guessed the year too.
They're really good on Google because it would be on Google somewhere, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, in some database somewhere, but that'd be fast though. Like for them to know exactly where to go to find that information.
That fast? Yeah, it's like someone knew that.
They nailed it month and year. That's impressive.
That is.
Ask them how they knew. Let's tell us your secret.
Why does that name sounds very familiar? Treon's Realm. Why does it sound so familiar?
He said no. He's a big fan of Jules's work.
Ah, that's why. That's why. All right. The next question will definitely get you guys. We have one more code to give away.
Trans Realm, you're awesome.
We'll yeah. So it was for those who are listening to the show and not seeing the comments. It was August 2015, and yes, I'm saying I'm saying the year, Jules, because well, it was already given. So that was another question we have for another game. Was what year was it founded in? But fear not, we have another question. We will be giving away one more Atooi game towards the end of the show.
Sweet.
All right. So if you want to collect your code, just email me at my personal email, which is just my last name, first name at gmail.com. I'll put in the chat. It's just lapinjason@gmail.com. And we will get your code. Oh, and let me know if what country or what area you're in. If you're in the Americas, Europe, Australia, whatever. So
Region.
Thank you. Where'd you go?
I'm trying to make waffles.
It looks like your vacuum. It's like your vacuum's talking.
Red.
I don't know why I've become obsessed with eating waffles though.
Because they're delicious.
It's amazing. How do you have them? Just dry, syrup, whipped cream? What do you do? Huh? Just dry?
Yeah, I just throw them in the toaster and I just eat them.
Dry.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well,
Because they're glazed. I mean, there's some sugar to them, right? They're slightly sweet, aren't they?
Yeah, they're slightly sweet.
You gotta cut some fruit on that. Put some maple syrup. Hey, don't you have maple syrup? I brought you some last year.
From Canada.
That massive jug?
Yo, did you drink it all?
I drank some of it and I left it in the hotel room because I couldn't get it in my luggage.
Oh, you left that in the hotel room?
I had to. I couldn't get it in my luggage. The thing was like this big.
Basically a crime to do that in Canada.
Yes.
Was it maple syrup? Was it like
actual
legit Canadian maple
yes,
syrup?
I brought him gold from the north, and he just leaves it in the hotel with his
Sean,
with
people
his
would
jizz
fight
tissues.
you for that, for what you've done.
I got the Kinder eggs.
Don't talk about those. We can't go on record about those.
Legal.
I didn't say where I got the Kinder egg.
Oh, I brought him like literally a liter of syrup, and he just.
I saw a documentary on how important syrup is in Canada, and how this means some shady, like there's like a union, and there's like it's controlled, and it's all kind of crazy up there.
Well,
it's important stuff.
They're not all unionized, but you can only collect that stuff 1 month of the year, and you need like this right climate for it to like freeze and thaw, so that the trees pee out their beautiful sap, and then you gotta heat it. And you just left it.
The value in what people are allowed to sell it at is kind of controlled by a certain cabal. Apparently.
Well, I've got a family.
Pretty interesting stuff.
I've got a maple farm in the family, so I can just go straight to the tree.
Do you really?
Yes.
Oh, look at you. Just turn the tap on. Delicious.
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah. Nice, dude.
I am never getting you a gift ever again.
Okay.
Like, so who would have gotten that? Do you think they just tossed it in the trash? I hope they at least like took.
Don't know.
I hope.
Why didn't you ask them?
I hope the maid or the cleaning person at least brought it home and shared it with
Realized
their
its
family.
value.
Call the Motel 6.
Liquid gold.
Hey,
Was it a Motel?
what happened? Yes, we stayed at a Motel 6.
I'm actually a little emotional right now. It makes me sad that you got rid of the syrup.
It was too big. It wouldn't fit in my luggage.
Okay. Next time you're getting a little tiny container of syrup.
Well, if you come this year, you could bring as much as you want because I'm 40 minutes away from the place. I'm just gonna drive.
Or maybe you can come to Canada to that expo that I'm putting together.
Yeah, let me get my passport.
Oh, don't you bring that up. I told you to get your passport 3 months ago.
Jason, I don't even have my Delaware stuff like done yet. Like I haven't changed over my insurance yet. I haven't done anything. Like it's been a process. Like I have to do basic life things. Ooh, my waffles are done.
Good.
Waffles.
Okay, we need to change topics because I'm riled up right now. Can't believe you just tossed my syrup out. That bastard.
I can't believe he even admitted that. He obviously doesn't understand the value
No,
that syrup has.
I am
Canadian.
I am severely offended right now.
Oof.
Ah,
That is a hot spot right there.
very.
He just stepped on a hot spot.
I'm not usually this fired up on here, but
No, I can understand.
here's your
Wow.
next. Here's your next. I'm sorry. Can't even ask this question.
I know. Wow.
I got a new shirt. Do you like my new shirt? I got.
It's a very nice shirt.
Someone got me this shirt yesterday, and I'm very happy.
nice.
This makes me happy.
It's a good shirt. Nice waffle.
Such
There's a good waffle.
Shut up. I don't want to hear you anymore. Jules, this is a question for you. How does Jules feel about the current state of the Nintendo eShop on Switch/3DS? Does he feel that they have any effect on sales?
I think the eShop and the through. Well, actually, they're both a disaster. I mean, how about I start off with that? The Switch one is a disaster because it's literally listed in the order in which it was released, which is great if you go there every Thursday. But if you don't and you're looking for something, you basically go to the bestsellers or you'll go to what's out now. And that's probably pretty much it. So it's not very helpful for a game that's older than a week.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Because you can't find it. It'll be pushed off the bottom of the page and you have to actually know you're looking for it. Oh, unless it's actually in the bestsellers. Then, of course, you don't really have that problem because you're in the bestsellers. So the Switch one is a disaster. In that regard, and I thought the Wii U eShop was fabulous. I love it. I think it's really well done. I think it promotes all kinds of different stuff. It's a nice, easy, browsy kind of thing. I think they did a fantastic job on the Wii U one, ironically. The 3DS one is kind of a disaster as well now, because really all it does is have first party or Nintendo's best buds in the first kind of 5 to 6 icons, and then everyone else, if you're lucky, is after that. So as far as it helping anyone sell their stuff, it doesn't.
Well, they got a lot of room to improve.
So there you go. So that's my very honest opinion of the eShop.
Do you think that it's going to improve by the time they release the new online stuff?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it doesn't. I mean, honestly, they could just adopt the Wii U eShop, and it'd be great. I think that was a fantastic design.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be shocked if they didn't update that for when people are being asked to pay for the online service. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked in a logical, reasonable way. I would not be shocked if Nintendo doesn't do it, because Nintendo does some weird stuff. They don't seem to care or do anything that's logical. So I won't be surprised if Nintendo doesn't update it, but they really should.
Speaking of the Switch, you know, the headline of tonight's show was developing from 3DS to Switch. And we haven't even discussed any of that an hour and 15 minutes.
And I even made some notes on that, because I didn't even know that's what we were discussing until you announced that's what we're discussing. And I was like, oh shit, well actually I guess I need to actually have my stuff together and know what I'm going to say about that.
Well, don't worry.
Some notes.
It's not an announcement. You're not preaching to a room full of developers here. It's more to hear anecdotal stories or just generally your thoughts.
Oh, okay.
You know, you've developed on the DS platform for almost a decade. And you've kind of expanded to consoles with the Wii U, then the PS4. So the Switch, you know, it's not even a year old yet. Just curious to see what you think of it from the other side. You know, we're the consumers, but what's it like on your end as a developer?
It's a nice machine. I mean, it's fairly easy to make games for, because it is obviously, compared to the 3DS, it's obviously a lot more powerful. You know, that with the 3DS, you had to be more of a specialized, team to make the 3DS do anything decent, because it's fairly underpowered. Whereas the Switch obviously has a lot more power. So, but that means there's more competition, so more people can make games for the Switch. Where I think there was less people that wanted to make games for the 3DS because it was more difficult. But it's a nice machine, you know, and it supports Unity and Unreal and stuff like that. So there's a lot of kind of engines you can use. You know, we're using a mixture of, mods, and Xeodrifter used our proprietary engine that we created. But we're also, like with Totes and Soccer Slammers, we're using Unity as well. You know, so, and that's been great. That's been really nice. So it's a nice platform. You know, I think one of the big challenges with Switch is what are you doing? It's so noisy.
I got some healthy, cholesterol-free nacho cheese tortilla chips.
Ooh, nacho cheese.
Show us the front, not just the ingredients list.
There's a CvS brand.
Look at you trying to be all healthy.
I got some chips that were habanero bacon.
Oh, that sounds
holy moly,
delicious.
they're good. So good, dude. Anyway, so yeah, the biggest thing is really the controller support. Getting the 2 Joy-Cons to kind of work properly, also supporting Pro Controller, bloody blah. That's kind of one of the new challenges that the Switch offers. It's not a huge deal. It's not something that, is impossible, but it is different and new that you wouldn't have to deal with on the 3DS. But no, it's great. It's Nintendo's also updated kind of their developer portal as far as submitting your game, uploading it, screenshots, videos for the eShop, blah, all that. That's much more streamlined than it ever was on the 3DS and Switch, 3DS and Wii U. So as a developer, it's pretty nice. I guess the caveat to that is, if you're a developer for it, there's still a lot of developers that want to develop for it, but they're not being allowed to. They're not being authorized to develop for it. Mm-hmm. So that's still a thing, I think, which sucks. Which is hard to believe, right? Because there's so many games coming out for the Switch. How can it not, be available to everyone? But it's not. I think there's still some people that would like to develop for it, but they're not allowed to yet, because I don't know why. Actually, I don't even want to speculate why. I don't even know why. But no, not everyone's allowed to be an authorized developer yet, even if they're qualified.
Shit, what was I gonna ask? I had another question. I guess as a consumer, or because you're kind of a fan of handhelds, from what I can tell from your Twitter conversations.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel the basically that the bridge has been connected? You can now get a console experience on the handheld. So
that's great.
The game experiences are now pretty much equal, whether you prefer playing on your TV or between your hands. What's that like? Between your hands is the hand.
You can play between your hands. That should be the new slogan. The Switch. You can play between your hands.
I don't think marketing would go so well that way, though. Put the game between your hands or your feet if you're very skilled.
Sorry, what was the question? I got thrown off by between your hands.
What was the question? What's that like for you to see the like? I don't know. Why did you like handheld gaming? Was it because you could take it with you anywhere, or was it because of the type of games?
Yeah.
And what do you think?
No, I like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. The reason I love the 3DS and the DS, was the convenience. I don't have to take up the TV in the living room. I can also, if I'm really into a game and I want to play it, in bed before I go to sleep, kind of thing, I can do that. It's just really convenient. I love that about, especially the 3DS. I mean, this was the 3DS, the new 3DS that I got. That was my favorite machine, which I'm showing. This is the new 3DS, the small one. Oh. I can't remember what it was officially called. The new 3DS something. I don't even know anymore. I forget. But anyway, that was my favorite machine. Really loved it. But I haven't touched that for ages. that quickly died as soon as the Switch came out. And the Switch completely does everything it could do and then some. So now I can take that, everywhere else I could go before, and I can play new games, which is awesome.
So you're pretty much done with the 3DS? Are you ready
I'm completely done.
Give it a sign off? Okay.
Oh yeah, there's nothing. I mean, if I did buy Metroid for it, I mean, if something really big came out, I mean, it's all about the games, right? So if a game came out and it's awesome and it's only on the 3DS, of course I'm going to get it. Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything that fits that subscription right now. Description. But it's all about the games. So, but there's nothing on the 3DS that isn't available elsewhere. So there's no reason for me to play it.
True.
Well, of course, unless there's Chicken Wiggle, and then everyone should buy a 3DS and Chicken Wiggle because it's only on the 3DS.
Because you can even.
So there is that. But I already have access to the codes on that, so
there you go.
I can play that.
You can play developer and make your own levels in Chicken Wiggle. So.
That is true, and you can share them online.
There you go.
Very freely, and you can browse through things. In other words, it's much better than Mario Maker.
Than that game made by amateurs. You can't even share online.
Amateurs.
All right, let's go into the lightning round. This is where we're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Damn it, I was talking and I muted myself.
What are you talking about?
Are you? Oh, sure.
I was talking about how I thought Mario Maker 3DS did suck because it was very, especially compared to the Wii U version.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It was. That was all.
Okay.
I'm eating myself and I was eating chips.
That's good. I mean, you came in, you saved it right there. We hadn't changed subject, so we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah.
I thought that...
Lightning round. What's lightning round? I forgot what lightning round.
So lightning round is where we take user topics and questions from the chat and we try to spin them off as quick as we can. This is kind of the chance where everybody gets to have a voice for half a minute to a minute. So usually Sean leads this, but I do have a little bit of a backlog. So let me go through the backlog and then Sean can jump in and pepper you with the questions. So let's go with Could you ask Jules about the progress of Treasure Knots?
Yes, you could.
What's the progress in Treasure Knots?
It's coming along very well. We actually moved it over from. So I'm gonna have a playable version of the game and an update in E3 this year. That's kind of like the next news dump. But it's going very well. We actually decided to move it from our proprietary engine over to Unity. So we spent some time doing that. It's still in development. I firmly believe it's going to be the best platform game that I've ever worked on. I'm really excited and proud of what it's going to be and what it is and what it's going to be. It's going to be great. When it comes out, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I'm just going to say it's going to come out when it's ready. Boom, there it is. It's going to be a great game. Whether by that point anyone cares or wants to buy it, I don't know. I think so. I think people still seem interested in it, hence someone asking the question. Yay. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be a really great game. It's going to be the best one I've ever worked on, so it's something I'm really proud of.
Oh man,
I'm looking forward to finish up.
Got me excited for it all over again. What's your favorite way hang on, what's your favorite way creators can cover your games? Reviews, let's plays, written reviews, something else? Shouting outside?
I think Let's Plays are super fun. You know, I think I like video reviews, and because they're digestible, 5 to 10 minutes, and I like Let's Plays because I can sit back and I love just watching people play the game and learning from that as a designer. Like, wow, I can't believe they chose to do that, or they didn't even see that. What? And it's just entertaining, especially if they're talking about it as well. It's super fun. So I like video reviews because they're digestible and more interesting to look at, and Let's Plays, yeah.
Okay. Are you coding the games in your own engine, or are you trying to use Unity more now? Which game was in Unity?
Totes and Soccer Slammers is Unity, and now Treasure Knots is as well, and Muds and Xeodrifter was not.
Okay. Jules, do you think your code giveaways on Twitter have helped get the word out for Totes the Goat better than influencer stuff?
I have no idea.
There you go. Sean, over to you. Run the chat.
All right,
like
so
it's your business.
We've got some questions here. Is there any chance Nintendo would allow you to port an updated Virtual Boy Wario Land to the Switch, as I love that image you put out years ago?
No.
It would be awesome, though.
They would not. If they wouldn't let me do it for the 3DS, why would they let me do it for the Switch? That would make no sense.
Shovelware on Switch, is there too much? How to prevent it? I don't think it's necessarily too bad right now. I don't know if others feel differently.
I didn't think the questions were for you, sir.
They're for everyone.
Okay.
Aren't they?
Okay.
Isn't this how this works?
They can be.
I don't...
They usually are, yeah.
Jesus. God.
I'm still upset about the syrup, that's all.
I don't think it's too bad.
Still upset about the syrup.
Jesus.
It doesn't seem too bad, right? I mean, I think there's a huge saturation problem. I mean, there's a lot of games, and I think, but that's only a problem because the eShop isn't designed very well and lets you browse them very nicely in genres or whatever's, you know. Well, it does let you do that, but not in a nice way like the Wii U did. But yeah, I don't think there's an abundance of crap games on there at this point. I mean, there's a couple, but there's not like, wow, not like Wii. The end of the Wii life was like, good Lord, you know.
Question for me: how would you feel if Panic Button were to port Batman Arkham series for the Switch? I talked about that. You must have been gone. I would love it. As a 3DS Wii U owner, but not Switch, any more games from Jules still to look forward to?
On which platform?
3DS and Wii U.
No. Sorry, there's not.
Yes, checked out.
Which company has Jules had the easiest time with as a developer?
I assume they mean Nintendo, Sony, etc. That's tricky because it kind of depends on in what way. I've had good times working with Nintendo, but I've had good times working with Sony, but in completely different ways. They're both, you know what it is? They both have really good people that work at their companies who give a shit. You know, they're gamers, they love games, and they love the developers, and they want to work with them and make good stuff happen at both Sony and Nintendo. So, and it always comes down to the people at the end of the day, and they both have great people working there. So I haven't really worked with Microsoft on the Xbox One. I hope to in the future, or whatever, then, you know, if they create in the future, you know, after the Xbox One. But you know, Nintendo and Sony are both great. They really are.
All right. Shit. There we go. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else?
Any chance of an overhead Zelda-style adventure game from Atooi?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. You understand lightning round very well, Jules. That's exactly how it goes. Was there anything else? Any comments? There's one here by Caffeinated Diabetic. About Nintendo not letting devs on the Switch. Not hating, but I think they had an issue with games like The Letter and basically near straight ports of existing free game prototypes from engines.
The Letter was a masterpiece.
Because your stupid face was on a tree.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
That's amazing.
It really isn't.
Wow.
He looked like a murderer too. It was
I did like a murderer face, like.
Very, very fitting. Very nice.
Yeah, he was just smiling. Really, is what he was doing.
And I think we can speculate. There's a lot of reasons that might be the way it is, but who knows?
All right, we are getting close to the end of the stream, but first, let's give out our last code for today. Jules, grab and reach into your. Okay, whatever. What's the game we got?
Oh, well, Totes to Go, of course, for the Nintendo Switch, coming out this Thursday, March 1st. Not even out yet, hot off the presses, early copy. It'll be $4.99, and it is a fun arcade game.
So Totes to Go, a game you can't even get exclusively here on the Class vs. Crass stream. And the question for, tell your friends about it, by the way. The question is,
how about, real quick, we'll give this to the first 3 people.
Whoa!
That get this right. How about that?
Rule change. I'm okay with that. Sean, you okay with that?
It's coming out and it's exciting.
Might as well. If you love goats, this is the game for you. All right.
Totes.
Totes for you. I don't know if the answer for this is still correct, Jules. Let me know. But the big question is, how many game licenses are under the Atooi name as of today? So we're looking for a number between 0 and 100. And the first 3 to get it win Totes the Goat for the Nintendo Switch.
I guess it would be +1 from what we talked about earlier.
That's fine.
Because of something else we discovered while we did this.
That's perfectly fine. So we will change that to this. Okay.
I think that's accurate.
I need to get like some kind of like Jeopardy music for when we do trivia on this show. Okay, don't say who has it right until we got 3 of them. So we got 2.
Yes, that's correct.
Wait. We're still waiting on one more.
No, I'm not going to say it. I was just confirming with him.
Okay. So we got 3.
We got 3.
Good job, guys and ladies who guessed those or got them right. Good job. Wow, impressive.
Who are the 3 that got them? We got Eric.
Does he count?
He really shouldn't, but he will.
Gadget Mike and
Gadget Mike.
Hamad.
Good job, people.
If this was an enthusiast stream, I would say no, but it's a personal one, not a business stream anymore.
Okay, amazing.
So Eric can have that slot.
Yeah. It's very flattering that anyone would know or even figure out how to know the answer to any of these questions. It's very nice. So yeah, figure out the region for those 3 wonderful folks. So
all of you that won, Sean said your name. Please send me an email to the one I put in the chat, and you will get your early copy of Totes the Goat. And if you want to make Jules happy, go ahead and do a let's play of it or a video review and let him know. And you know what? And I think you can actually review games now on, I don't know if you can do it on Switch, but I think you can do it on their website, on Nintendo.com. If you go to the game page on the Nintendo.com, you can actually leave a review for games now. So if you guys get it, and even if you hate it, give me a 5-star and say you love it. Thank you. Appreciate it. So Eric is saying he's giving his code to the next winner. So who was the 4th? So he doesn't have to, but he's offering it.
Muro-Cenero.
Oh, Mercenero. Good.
There we go.
Fellow Canadian who enjoys the syrup of the trees.
Eric is a gentleman. We've got a lot of gentlemen, a lot of classy people in this stream. A lot of classy people in the room tonight. Crassy ones would be bashing each other for it. No offense to the team Crass in here. Just dump the maple syrup in the hotel like it's nothing.
I didn't know.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Oh my gosh.
Where was I going with this Totes the Goat though? Hang on. Gotta stop thinking of this syrup. Send the codes. Oh yes. So the answer was 8. There are 8.
Oh yes, there we go.
Game licenses under the Atooi name, and let's name them off.
So there's Totes.
There's Totes.
Totes to Go. There's Mud Masher. They're both on the iOS, and Totes is coming to the Switch as well. There is Mutant Muds. We'll just say Muds, just to cover all the Muds games, basically. There's Xeodrifter. There's Bomb Monkey. There's Chicken Wiggle.
Do you remember all your kids?
No,
Do you remember all your kids?
Treasure Knots. And there's another one I'm not thinking of. What is it?
Oh, Soccer Slammers.
Thank you. Jeez Louise. That's not on my wall. That's why I didn't think of it.
You need more
Yeah,
stickers. You need more stickers.
Ding, ding, ding. I know. I need to put it up there. We're working on the logo now for that, actually. So that's
Cool.
cool. There we go.
You can
There's
call
the
it like
games under the Atooi umbrella.
doing pretty good for Studio. 8 licenses already. 8 IPs in a matter of just 2 years.
Fun.
Not bad.
Ricky the Legendary, yes, you do need to try Xeodrifter. I personally recommend it. Very good game. All right. So any last questions for Jules before we wrap it up? Was there anything else, Sean, that you saw or no?
No.
No, we're good. All right. Well, we are at the 1 hour and a half mark, which is our usual length of the show when we have a guest. I want to thank everybody for joining us on tonight's very special stream. Jules, thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend to come hang out with us and share some insights.
It's fun, man. It's always fun to hang out with you guys.
That it is. It's such a natural bond that we share. You going to be at PAX East this year?
Not PAX. I will be at GDC and E3, but not PAX, unfortunately.
All right. I might show up to one of those. I'll be traveling a lot more.
GDC's fun.
I've never been.
E3, which is great. It's good because it's obviously purely more of a developer focus, which is good. And San Fran's great, so
that's
a good
two
time.
things. I've always wanted to visit San Francisco. Haven't
it's a good time.
All right.
And it's affordable. I think the tickets aren't too bad to actually get into the show, like $150 maybe for the regular pass.
It's more the $1,000 flight that's
there we
scary.
There we go. And the hotel and right.
Yeah. Oh,
Business expense.
Yeah. There we go.
Pretty much. Well,
that'd be great.
I'll show up if my company sends me there. Otherwise, I'm not going on my own. But Jules, what can we? So we always end the show with a little bit of a shout out to your socials or a little announcement you want to make. So I know you got a game on the horizon. You got some socials. Where can people find more of you, more of your work?
Well, Atooi.com, ATOOI.com is where everything is. It has obviously most of our games up there, and has on the about page has links to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, blah blah blah, blog, all of that shebang. Normally I would give up my Twitter thing, but I'm actually trying to use that a little bit less, just because there's just a lot of assholes on there basically. So I'm trying to use Twitter a lot less than I used to. Just getting tired of it. It's just emotionally a drain, but I'm probably there the most because I'm kind of addicted to using it, but I'm trying to fight that addiction. But Atooi.com is probably the best place to go to learn about our games, because it's one-stop shopping for all of the links. So, and as far as stuff we have coming out, we have Totes coming out this week on the Switch. It's already available on the iOS, which is actually so you can get that either way. And then Soccer Slammers will be coming out World Cup, and Treasure Knots will come out whenever it's ready. And we're potentially going to be doing a Kickstarter for Chicken Wiggle Switch in the near future.
Oh.
So there you go. That's what we have going on.
Have you ever heard of there's another Fig.io, I think, is another
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that,
Yeah, I know they do only game crowdfunding. From what I heard.
Yep.
All right. Sean, what should people know about you? Other than you're desecrated the Canadian gold.
I don't respect Canadian syrup, evidently. No, just a lot of content this week. Payday 2 review will be up on my channel tomorrow, bright and early. I have to do the written one, or I am doing the written one for Nintendo enthusiasts. So if you prefer to read, that should be up tomorrow at some point as well. I have to type it up basically, but that's not hard. And then I'll have a collaboration of Switch games that I've been playing recently. A lot of indie games are on there. A lot of games that you might not have picked up or known about. That they're all really fun games that I've been playing so far. Still got to check out a couple more of them. But yeah, other than that, there'll probably be some news up on the channel. Just whatever floats my boat.
Great. As for me, Sean has lit a fire in my soul tonight. I am now just more driven than ever to catch up to that guy's YouTube channel. So I am still just getting out the gate. But there's some content coming, guys. I've checked my coffee. I'm pissed. I'm going to be heading to the editing room right after this podcast to put out a new video for you guys. I'm actually working on the top the top Nintendo 64 games on the N64. Because
we told you about that title.
You helped. Because, you know, symmetry matters, and also because I can't find I can't do a Wii 100 on the N64. It's a small library. But episode 1's done, or episode 1, the script's done. I'm hoping to get that out, finished tonight and posted midweek. So more content for you guys. I want to thank you all so much for the surge in support I've gotten in the last couple of weeks. We have a lot of new subs here, 130 to be exact, and I saw quite a few more tonight. So thanks for stopping by, supporting the show. You know, I want to do more of these with some special guests, some hot topics, and really get this podcast off the ground. So thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, keep it classy, or as Sean would say,
keep it classy,
or as Jules would say, which team are you on?
I'm gonna let that one go.
Team neutral.
Good to see both of you.
Playing it safe. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I don't think I have an ending screen for this since I ported to the new format. Well then, we're just gonna cut it right here. Good night, everybody. No singing from Sean tonight. Apologies.
Good night.
Good night.